G'day, it's Pat here from Shem Productions, and today I will be jumping into the production of Consumed by Vincent, which was the last song they released about a month ago on the first EP that I've been working on for them for this year. Second one's in the works already, but there's still one more song to go off this one. And they made a really sick film clip for this song as well. It's on YouTube. Highly recommend. Go check it out. They're a fully DIY band, and the stuff they're making is unreal. So let's jump straight in. Here's a Pro Tools session. I've got an instrument folder and a vocals folder. Let's have a quick listen to the song. Probably go up to the first verse just to set the scene. Old school tape cassette. Wanted to make it feel like a really driving song, this one. Every time I listen to it, it makes me feel like I'm fanging it from Coolum to Yandina, through the cane fields. All right. Let's have a little bit of a look underneath what's going on. So the drums, hear them on their own. I'm not going to go into each channel's processing because that video would be too long. We'll try and keep this under 15 minutes. Plus, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, so I'm not going to waste my time. If anyone wants any more in-depth look at any of the processing, I'd be more than happy to do it. But for now, let's just keep it basic. So each of the drums, we've got a kick. Oh, should say, this was recorded live. The band did 6 or 7 takes with no click until they were happy with a really good take. And then we used the drum recording as the bed track and overdubbed all the other instruments over the top of that. There's a little bit of drum editing that went on some parts. Maybe I tightened up a couple of double kicks, but mostly this is the live take. There is a little snare sample. Where's our snare? Snare samples being used to bolster the snare. And then there's a couple of tom and cymbal hits that were sampled in just to fix up a couple of dodgy hits or to create a bigger sense of wash. So let's hear all the mics. We got the kick in. Kick out not being used. And you'll notice on the kick, I'm not too heavily gating. I like to treat the drums as a single instrument. Here's our snare. Without the reverb. Snare top. Snare bottom. Snare sample. All together. Nice fat snare. Hi-hat. Barely using that mic. It's pretty standard for me. Got the rack tom. Floor tom. Over here we'll hear the sample come in. Floor tom building up. We've got our overheads. Really crispy. I love the sound of those overheads. Little cymbal sample. They just used to bolster some parts, particularly in the intro. Super compressed room mic. I love doing that. Gives it a lot of energy. This is a big song, big grungy rock song. Some elements of metal throughout it. Some parallel compression and a reverb going on the drums. Up next, we've got the bass guitar, captured a DI signal and the bass amp. So that's the amp tone. with the DI. Later on in the song, I had to process Archie's bass a little bit differently. He's playing this nice bridge section up higher on the neck. There's the DI. There's the amp on its own. That just got a slightly different EQ to the rest of the bass track. So we hear the transition from this part back to the main bass. Nothing too fancy going on the bass, just a bit of EQ and then some parallel compression with the good old 1176. Guitars is what we're here for. So Ray uses a EVH 5150 head and we utilized all three channels, red being the heaviest, double tracked, hard pan left and right, massive sound. Later on we get the blue channel, more medium. And we also get the nice clean green channel. So that one's just being treated with CLA guitars, bit of width and reverb. We hear all that together, we get something like this. So I will talk about this multi-band compressor I'm using on the guitar bus. Let's go to a heavier part, somewhere up here. So it sounds quite woolly, fat when that's turned off. It's just treating each frequency range a little bit differently and keeping everything under control, particularly down that low end when Ray's doing his big heavy chugs. It just stops it from poking out and dominating the mix too much. I think it gives it a really nice element of life. We got the pre-chorus guitar. It's one of my favorite things in the production. So as a whole, it is a chord being arpeggiated But what we did is Ray played each part of the chord on separate tracks. One's hard pan to the left, one's straight up the middle, and then one's out to the right. That's the left channel. You can hear it stop early. Just 4 notes. There's the center guitar finishing off the next couple of notes. Then the right guitar finishes the whole chord. So if we play them all together, pay attention how they start in the left ear and then they start to swirl around your head, creating a big sense of space and atmosphere. Awesome. Solo guitar. Highly recommend you go and see Pity Vincent live because they're absolutely epic. And Ray's a shredder on guitar. He never misses a note. Now, in the studio, you've got to do a couple of tricks here and there, like double track solos if you want to. We got a cool sound out of it. Double tracking. And then there's some certain parts where, you know, you might want one note to ring a little bit longer, and then a pick slide comes in underneath it. So we actually track the solo on about 8 tracks or so here. Let's listen to the whole thing. Zero processing on most of the tracks there for that, with just a little bit of a low end and high end roll off on the solo bus, and some nasty frequencies being cut out there. We did have to do a couple of overdubs in the Shen here, and we used an amp sim, which was a 5150, pretty much got the exact same tone. With them, we got the outro guitar, which is just more layers to really make this big outro massive. It's all adding to the bigger picture. Okay, these are some of my favorite things we've got on the track, some effects. So we've got a little orchestral arrangement here, just on the strings. Take us into that huge chorus. That's got viola, violins, and cellos, I believe. Some white noise, just to make the first initial all in really intense. Reverse cymbal, pretty standard. We got tape cassette at the beginning. Sets a scene for a driving song. Got a gunshot. Sub drop. Couple of rises. This one's called the Zeppelin effect. We liked it purely for the name. This one's really intense. Sounds so sick at the start. They're not dominating the mix, they're just adding some layers. And some reverse reverb. Let's find some of that. So, an ode to 90s grunge here. Reverse reverb on the vocal, Chris Cornell style. Let's have another example. Super fun. Speaking of vocals, lots of layers here. So the effects I'm using are a slap delay, an eighth delay, quarter delay, some reverb, and vocal color, which is really just a mid-range push with some distortion. And they're all being used on parallel tracks. And you can see that the levels are automated. They're coming in and out for effect. So the lead vocal, we got a lead with a double that's about 11 dB quieter, and every now and then a triple. Everyone can see, yeah. If we hear it with the effects now. Everyone can see, yeah. Now that's also got the harmonies in it as well. So down below here we've got some harmony tracks. We go to a part where there's lots. Crawling under your skin, leaving you consumed. And then we hear some fry screams come in to bring in the chorus. And they also take us into the solo with some big, low, guttural screams. It's so epic. Ray's only learnt how to sing, or taught himself how to sing, in the last, I don't know, I'm going to say a year, maybe 18 months max. He was the lead guitarist of the band only. and then became the frontman and still is the lead guitarist. So it's very impressive stuff. All those screams have got compression on them, fair bit of saturation, and then just a big presence boost. So you can really hear all that stuff rattling around at the back of his throat. It goes again at the end. This is huge, this section. Lots of layers. Ray tracked all the vocals himself, mostly. Allows him to be as finicky and time-consuming as he wants. And then he's brought them to me, and we edited and chose the best takes. Put some processing on them. On the master track, I'm using Abbey Road mastering chain, glue and punch preset. I love this preset. I basically use it all the time, and then just tweak the settings to suit the mix. And then there's a limiter there getting it up to loudness for Spotify. So very quick breakdown. I'm always thankful for the boys in Pity Vincent in choosing me to produce their stuff. And it's just getting better and better each time we do. If you haven't checked them out yet, please go and do it. That's Consumed. Came out last month. There's an epic film clip. We've got another song called Tether coming out probably by the end of this month. Stay tuned for more. If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing and leaving me a comment. Cheers. See you soon.